Ladies and gentlemen, I trust you're doing well, that you're enjoying this beautiful weather outside. I just went out for a 2.36 mile run. Freaking awesome. I didn't beat my time though, but I still got to it. I'm gonna get back to it tomorrow. I actually have something new to show you guys. I'll be testing out along with my Fitbit. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna have two at the same time. I'm gonna show y'all exactly what it's about. But today, gold nuggets with one of my closest friends that I've had through my football career. We got to play university together. So Mikael Charland is actually logged in, so he'll be on in just under a minute. Whew, I'm excited. There we go. View. Should just move that. And we're on.
What up?
How you doing, brother?
I'm awesome. I'm gonna have to hold my phone.
Oh, that's all right. Whatever has to get done will get done, bro.
So if it gets jittery like this, well, you know what it is.
It's all great, bro. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Pretty start of a busy week, so
Perfect.
it's good to start with this live because it'll just put me in the mood for the rest of the week, right?
Awesome. So let's get it rolling. To all the viewers, all the listeners, thank you for tuning in today to Gold Nuggets. This is a show that I started to invite guests on to talk about their lives so people can really hear and see why I have people around me that motivate me and inspire me to be the best that I can be. Secondly, I'd like to thank our sponsors today, which is Le Givre Shake Bar in Saint-Eustache, 142J, 25th Avenue in Saint-Eustache. If ever you want an awesome shake, just swing by. I'll make sure I get one done for you. I'll be there tomorrow and Friday. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mikael Charland, one of my closest friends from university. We met playing football. We had some awesome years, actually competing also in practice and then competing together against other teams on the field in big games. And so, yeah, bro, thank you for being here, man.
Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure. I always like to be on here, especially with the title of Gold Nuggets. I just love it. I love the energy too.
Let's go. So to get things started, really simple, man, just talk to us about like where you're from, how did things get started in terms of football, in terms of life, you know, how did things go?
In terms of life, but I was born from my no, really, I'm from I was born in Longueuil, Montreal, but I really lived most of my life here in Gatineau, where I am currently. So in Gatineau, Quebec, which is for people that might not know, it's literally across the river from Ottawa. So I'm right on the side of Ottawa. I can just jump to Ontario and come back to Quebec whenever the restrictions are better on each side. But so you know, I played most of my sports, football, everything started in Gatineau. I was always a guy that would love doing sports. I used to, you know, I started my sporting career, if you want to say that, with playing soccer.
You play soccer, bro?
Yeah, I played soccer as my first sport. I think it's because of my mother. She's from France, so I guess it's one of the sports in Europe. So I think soccer is a great sport for young guys to, you know, start into the sports, just because it teaches you how to run, it teaches you how to, you know, work with your teammates and kind of have the same goal. So and it's really cheap in terms of equipment you have to buy. So I think it's a great way to open the door to sports for any kind of kids or young athletes trying out different sports. And you know, my passion for sports was just born with this because I wanted to be a professional soccer player at first. And you know, I never tried any other sport. Well, I did with, you know, school and everything, but you know, with a team, with a league and everything, soccer was definitely my first team sport. And definitely loved the vibes and loved like the idea of being a professional and having some kind of impact on the younger players.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew, you know, I grew up to Sec 4. So for in Quebec, secondary 4 is, you know, fourth year of high school, but for Ontario it's grade 10, if I'm not mistaken.
10, yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
so grade 10 for elsewhere in Canada and maybe in the States. But so it's only in grade 10, sec 4 that I started playing football, just because, well, first big influence, my older brother was playing football. He was playing football for a couple of years before me. And I just loved watching the games after school on the weekends. And, some of my friends joined also the football team at the school. So I was just, why not just try it out? So
Yeah.
that first season of my sec 4, I was playing soccer and football at the same time. So like some weeks I would finish football practice and go straight to a soccer game. So this was probably the hardest year in sports. Not the hardest, but as a young kid, it was hard because I was doing two sports at the same time. But they really kind of molded my mold in terms of hard work and dedication to what you start and kind of things like that. And after that year, I decided just to do one sport. So I switched to football because I really love football. I was getting too many cards on soccer. I was getting yellow cards. So I figured that going to tackle people or catch balls would be better. So I switched to football. Actually, I couldn't catch a thing when I was started, so that's why I played defense.
Let's not get into that. The catching part is my part.
Well, that's the reason why I'm a defensive player. I was a defensive player. I love, tackling people and be stopping guys on the line. It's like an amazing feeling. Anyway, so sec 4, sec 5, played some football, and that's what kind of sparked my motivation, my love for the sport, and to keep on going to the higher levels. So after high school, I went to Cégep, Cégep de l'Outaouais, played for the Griffons. Oh, I just wanted to make a shout out to my high school, Polyvalente l'Érablière, les Jaguars. Played for them 2 years. We won the provincial championship, not provincial, regional championship. We lost in the Bol d'Or, which is a provincial championship. We lost there, but it was still my first, kind of championship game. So, that feeling kind of builds up and you want to get there again. And that's the whole goal of being a football player. You want to get to that championship game, right? And anyway, so from there, went to Cégep de l'Outaouais, played for the Griffons. Had some great time over there. That's how pretty much the team that crafted me and the player I was. So I played, different positions from being a DB to linebacker to safety. So I played a bit different parts of the defensive schemes. And that's how I kind of learned my football, because in high school, I was just really reacting to whatever I saw. And that's when in CJEP, I started understanding a bit more what the game what the game was demanding from a player. And, between the whistles or in practice, the CJEP really was a time where I was made a true football player, not just an athlete.
More in detail, yeah.
Yeah, and CJEP was also a great year and a great time in terms of getting my school right, because while my first year I was enjoying myself a bit too much, and I was like a lot of athletes, they start sports, they just love it, so they spend most of their time working on that sport and kind of forgets other things that might be important, like school. So that first year, I failed half of my courses, so I didn't get the requirement to play the next season, which was devastating for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty awful for me that season, because I had to go play for a city team in Ottawa, which is definitely not the same caliber. Still had some fun, met some amazing people there, but you're not with your family that you're supposed to play with that season. So thank you, Adam.
Let's go.
But so yeah, that second season was really something that made me realize that, okay, I have to put a lot more work on other things than football, because football is great, but it's not the thing that's going to shape the rest of your life.
Yeah, of course.
It's going to be a big part of your life, but there's other things also. So then, I started working more in terms of homework, doing my studying for some exams and stuff like that. So then the rest of my time at CJEP was great, was getting decent grades, 70s and above, C's get degrees.
Yes, as the saying. For real,
But
bro. But I actually have a question for you. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, that's actually a big change, and I feel like, again, I don't know all the young athletes around Montreal or around young athletes in general, but I feel like that's something that's really that's happening a lot for kids, like you said, that want to make it in their sport, that they concentrate so much on their sport that they put aside the schooling. So what I understand is that you were able to realize that schooling, well, actually, your sport is nothing without your schooling. So it's nothing without your education.
Mhm.
And when you made that switch, did it help a lot in your life?
Well, absolutely, because I was more organized. I was more like serious in terms of the work I needed to do. I wasn't
Yeah,
doing like half job kind of thing, and that's how I mean that year kind of helped me be better at in football in general because I was taking my training more serious. I was
yeah,
taking like everything around football and school more serious, which kind of you grow as a person doing those things, and it's that season that made me realize not probably I don't know what would happen if I didn't, fail on my class and still play. Maybe I would have been a more lazy player, and it would have affected in terms of where I ended up like today. But the fact that I had to go through this event in my second year of football in CJEP was, I think, very important for my progression in terms of person and an athlete. Um, sometimes you learn from others' mistakes. Well, sometimes you have to do those mistakes yourself to learn and see the true impact of what they can do to your career in terms of football, professional, whatever it is in life, right? Sometimes you
wow,
have to live it to understand. Okay, I have to do something differently, right?
that's true.
So I think that's what I get out of this part of my
Yeah,
my career, my little not stump but bump in the road,
yeah, yeah. Wow, that's crazy, bro. And so from CJEP, when CJEP, and then the second year you didn't get to play in CJEP, but you played city ball, and then after that, was that the year after that? Was that at ConU?
No, I went back to CJEP again because obviously I failed some classes, so I had to do an extra 1 or 2 semesters.
Yeah,
So those are the consequences of the action I took that first season, right? So I
yeah,
had to do 1 extra year of CJEP just because I failed so many classes that first year.
mm,
And that's one thing when you say not do not put all your eggs in one basket. Well, that's kind of what I did. Um, and you kind of learn from that. But so that technically my second season, but my third year in CJEP, that's when everything picked up. We also got a great coach that came in to replace our old coach, which is Denis Pichet. I don't know if you heard about him. You probably know him,
the
but
name is familiar.
yeah, he's used to be. Well, actually, he just went back to Ottawa, but he was a head coach in Ottawa back then. Now he's back with the program just recently, but is like one of the Hall of Fame coaches over there. So he really installed his mentality over there. And when I was there at CJEP, he really um, showed the players how to work and what to do and how to get the right attitude when you come in on the field or go into class and stuff like that. So he
Wow,
really installed a new how do you say a new mentality, a new vibe around the team, and that kind of affected me after that going towards university because his approach was way more professional in a sense because he coached in university. Now he's going kind of downgrading to CJEP, but he's bringing everything he learned in university, which is way more serious, and brought it to CJEP. So it kind of built up and made us ready for the next step, which was university, right?
wow, that's crazy.
And
That's crazy.
I had a great season that last year, and then
I watched your highlight.
sorry.
So I watched your highlight. You're like a man amongst boys.
Oh yeah, I was definitely bigger than everyone my last year, probably because I missed a year. And but I got last year was great. Got some some interest from different universities that were scouting me, so that allowed me to kind of enjoy the process of getting scouted and recruited, going on to recruiting visits, and having talking with different coaches and some players that were joining the visits. So it really kind of helped me grow and be serious in terms of the decisions that I'm going to do next, because they're going to affect like the next 4 years of that part of my life.
That's true.
And then I enjoyed that process and decided to go to Concordia, join my boy Jamal Henry.
That was fun, man. Great times, bro. Great.
I definitely have to say though, my English was terrible that first year.
But you see, that's the thing that listeners, viewers have to understand, is that Mike came to Concordia. You could understand English, but he speaking it, he had a hard time doing it. Now you listen to him today, and it's like night and day. But the thing that you guys need to understand is that he didn't let that stop him from going to an English university, right? And that's something that, like, when you want something, just find a way to get it done.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did, because we got to be teammates.
And it's good that you bring up this point because one of the reasons I went to Concordia is because I took up that challenge. I was like, the world of football is mostly English. Even if we're in a French province, we use English terms. In our meetings, it's always English. So I was like, well, what's one of the best ways I can kind of move fast forward to understanding those concepts and those things football related even better? And it was learning English a bit better. So I took up this challenge saying, okay, I want to go to university and learn English better. And by doing so, I'll understand football a bit better because everything's in English. So I took that challenge. I knew that first winter when I came in, that was going to be hard, but I worked through it. I worked through the challenges, and obviously my first year wasn't great. I didn't get the best grades because I had to kind of relearn all the terms in terms of maths and everything like that. So it was definitely a period of learning, but and I got through it, and now today, like you said, my English is really good, and some say there's a slight accent, but definitely it's 10 times better. Sometimes I go back and watch my first interview from recruiting that first year, and it's it doesn't sound the same at all. It's pretty awful, but I'm glad I took the step and took the challenge to learn English a bit more for that signing.
Yeah, and I can actually kind of relate, because in grade 9, so Sec 3, I moved to Texas.
Finesse,
From before then, like Sec 8 and before, I went to school in French. So when I got to Texas, I remember sitting in class, and my teacher asked us to write a paper, and she's like, okay, you guys need to write your thesis statement. I had no idea what a thesis statement was. For everybody listening, it's really simple. A thesis statement is a sentence about what you're going to write. I had no idea what it was. We do like projects, and they'd be on the projector, and I had like tons of errors. But anywho, just to say that making that switch, ladies and gentlemen, again, don't find yourself any excuse. Just find all the reasons why you can do it, why you want to do it, and you'll get through it. And Mikael Charland is like one of the best examples, because actually, well, as you're going to hear the rest of his story, I'm excited to hear it. I already know it, but I'm excited to hear it anyway. So you get to Concordia. Talk to us about like what happens while we're there, and after.
Well, Concordia was definitely 4 years where I grew first as an athlete, as a person, also as an adult, also stepping into a different world, which is a lot more. You can't take things for granted, because especially with football, and nothing is guaranteed. The next guy can take your spot. So that's kind of the mentality I took when I got to university. And I knew that I had to be serious in class, because I wouldn't play for football. I already lived that experience, and I didn't want to go through it again. Like I said, my first year was definitely hard. I almost failed some of the classes. Actually, I failed some classes because of the switch of language. But I still managed to, get enough good grades and pass enough classes to play the next season, which I didn't. I don't want to repeat the same mistakes. But it was definitely a challenge to switch everything from French to English. But I made it that first year, and then I got to play that second season also. That first year you learn so many things from, vets that are telling you, tricks on in terms of, you know, what to do during school and classes, or, you know, on the field, or just simple tricks like for living in your apartment, you know, what kind of food you're going to cook. This is all the kind of stuff that, like, when you're in CJEP living out your pants, you don't know anything about that. And then when you move out, you're just like, okay, I'm just going to cook some craft dinner with some some chicken breast. Like, what is it? Borsa is discontinued class. Oh, it's hilarious. But yeah, so you know, why is he saying this? Because obviously you take a certain amount of class in universities. You take, like, I don't know, 6, and then you go to each of those classes the first 2 weeks, and you kind of see which teachers or not you like, and then you kind of cut off the ones you don't. But that's why discontinued is there. But it's pretty funny because it's a whole process every athlete goes through. Anyways, second year was my best. Second year was definitely my best season. I think from everything I've learned that first year, I took it to the next year and carried it with me. And it just showed on the field and off the field. I think my sophomore season, so the second year in the university, was my best year in terms of school and football. You know, personal records were broken, which is a great achievement for me. I even won, like, defensive player of the year with the team. So it was definitely something that was an accomplishment for me, especially for a second year player. You know, getting that award in front of, like, some vets is pretty impressive. And it's a great feeling to achieve, right? And then from that, you know, same kind of work carried on. And then that third season, obviously, so how football works is when there's a new player, teams kind of want to test out this guy, see how good he is. So, you know, that second year, that's what happened. Like, the teams were testing me, trying out my zone and see if I would do my things properly. And that second season, I stopped most of the people, which is why I had a great season. But in that third season, they knew what I was able to do. So that third season was definitely the boring season, because teams were kind of strategizing around me, so trying to go away from where I was.
Yeah.
And that's part of what football is. If you're doing your job properly, then teams want to go elsewhere because they know you're going to stop them. Same thing with offense. Like, you know, Jamal Henry was a great receiver, and sometimes he was getting double covered because they knew he was really fast, and they knew he would catch all those balls and, you know, juke everybody. So they were double covering him. So the same principle applies to our defense players. And I think this is something that helps you develop into what can I do to get to that play, because they're running away from me. So what can I do to perfect my game and get those plays again? Because, you know, you have to do extra work now to get there because they're going away. So that's when, you know, I focused, and into my fourth season, you know, I got back to a bit where I was in my second season, and it's perfect timing because, you know, last season is where you start getting approached by agents for, you know, the next level and professional levels. And that's another thing that I've learned through the years of football, is that you have to focus on one thing, or, well, two things, school and football. And that, you know, the fact that you're getting attention from scouts and everybody else is that you have to focus on what you're doing and not, like, on what's going to happen in a couple of months from now. And I think that's a big factor for some guys, because they see the scouts in the stands and they stress out and don't perform as well as they should because they're stressed out. And that's one of the things I like to say: you have to live in the moment. You have to live, like, right now, what's going on right now. Because if you start thinking what's happening tomorrow, well, you don't know. You can plan for it, but you don't know if it's going to rain, or, you know.
That's true.
You got to stay focused on what's happening at the moment, and you know, kind of put the shutters like horses and just go straight forward.
You're right. Wow. It's crazy. So,
I mean, there's a lot of experience and stories I could say, but I think there's not enough time in this life to list all the stories.
but to everybody listening, to be honest, and I'm not just, like, talking to talk. I think I know everybody who's played with you, who has watched you play. Like you said, that second year, the biggest change for me that I saw in you was your level of confidence. So let's say if we go back to I watch your highlight from your second year playing in CJEP, third year. you had a confidence, you were having fun. And that second year in university, that's where I saw the real Mikael Charland come out and really just like ball out, have fun, make some hits, make some picks, um, have fun on special teams. And Mike is actually one of the best athletes that I've seen throughout my football career. And I really, it's like when, and it's not to how could I say, to showboat about like athleticism, but when a top athlete meets another top athlete, they recognize it. And I believe you and I like really were at the top of our game, and it's really because we focused on school, we focused on football, but like focusing on football, ladies and gentlemen, football is like 3 to 3.5 months a year. So that means 9 months out of the year, what are you doing? And Mike and I really, that's where we had great successes because we prepared extremely well for those 3 months. So we spent 9 months of preparation of preparing for 3 months of the year, and it showed when we got on the field. Again, offenses stayed away from Mike, one player out of 12. And again, it was fun like watching you play. So from university football, dominating, talk to us about the process of going from there to the pros.
So like you said, I want to bring this back is similar to what preparation for professional level and stuff. It's really about how you're going to prepare. Those 9 months that are off season is where a player you're going to see him succeed or not. If you see the guy is always in the gym and putting work in terms of working out on the field, working out in the gym, working out technically his brain. So watching tape, going through the playbook, if you're allowed to have one during off season, depending on the teams. But
Yeah.
it's that time you take on those things that will show when it comes to game day or even for an exam. Like if you study all night the night before and expect to get an A in that exam, it's probably not going to happen because it just doesn't work like that. And that's where you see that preparation beats talent. Even if you're a talented guy, if you just carry on with your talent, at one point you're going to cap, you're right. So it's with that preparation that you can bust that cap and go higher even, and then kind of go over your expectation and your what you think your body and your mind can go.
So true.
And so that brings me to the fact of preparing for pros because obviously like preparing for pros, you're going to the next level. So you're competing against high athletes, same level athletes a bit. And it's a bit like when I went against you during practice. I hated going against you because I knew you're good and you're really fast, but that's what got me better. So yes, I hated the fact that I was going against you, but the what I was getting from just that one rep against you was a lot more than what I would get from anyone else on the team, probably, because it prepares me mentally going against harder athletes, and also it prepares me in terms of confidence. You said like my second year in the confidence boost was way different than my first year, and that's what makes a difference, because somebody can know they have the skills, but if the confidence is not there, then it's not going to show, right?
True.
So the same thing applies for preparing for professional football. And you got to be confident in your training. You got to be confident in what you're going to achieve in terms of, those testings or the interviews you can have with the coaches. You have to set yourself some expectation, but still not too high because, you got to manage your own expectation, right? So you go in, you're confident. How the preparation is you have either you get invited to the national combine, which is the official last combine, or you get invited to a regional combine, which kind of a step before getting invited to the national. So some guys were invited directly to the national, which was the case for me. Some other guys had to go through the regional to then get invited to the national. Like I said, I was lucky to get an invite from the national, so I kind of knew my not my fate, but I kind of knew what the process was going to be from there on. And so after that season, got the invite, and then that's when the preparation starts, so mentally and physically. And so how I thought of doing things is like, I'm going to go compete against the best of the country, right? So I have to train with the best. So what I did is I literally went to the States. I went to Florida, trained at Bommarito's, which is a facility where a lot of NCAA D1 players go to train and get drafted in the NFL first round, second round. So there's a lot of big guys that go there. So I decided to go there. I was lucky to have a sponsor that paid most for everything. So I was really lucky in that on that side, because it can be really expensive, well, especially with currency conversions, and then the price on just the training itself, because that facility knows these people are going pro, so they know they're going to make money, so they can charge a lot more than just like $500 for a program, right? That you go see a regular gym do. These guys, they know they can charge you more, so that's why the price was high. But in terms of you're competing with the best in the States, which is similar to the best in Canada. So I was like, if I go there in that environment and get comfortable and be confident in that environment, well, I will compete at the same level when I get back to Canada, because the mentality has been implemented, right? So I went there, trained for a month and a half for preparation for the combines. Amazing time in Florida, you know, hot weather. Your body's always feeling good because it's warm. Don't get that cold weather, your joints are hurting. And especially that time of the year in Canada, that's what it is. It's wintertime, you know.
Yes.
You finish the season, it's November.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, end of November, and then the combine is in May.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in May. So then you have December, January, February, March, April to prepare. So you have 5 months to prepare.
All winter.
And it's all winter. So if you stay in Canada, well, you're going to be cold. So I was like, well, you know, I'm going to start training here in Quebec, and, you know, prepare myself for when I go to the States. So when I get there, I'm not like, you know, level 0. I'm already like a certain level, so I can kind of jumpstart the training and everything. And that's what I did. Everything went super great. Went to the combine, definitely crushed. Well, I think I crushed it.
You did. Yeah.
I was top 3 in 5 categories of tests. So this is definitely something rewarding in terms of the work I put in the months before. And you see that coming out with the test results and the feedback you get from the interviews of coaches, because at the combine, you get interviewed by the coaches. They kind of they want to know a bit more about yourself. They've seen your tape, but they haven't seen you as a person. So they go through some questions. Some are football related questions. Some are more personal, like basic questions. Like literally, some coach asked me like, "Why are you dressed like that today?" Like as simple as that, because they want to understand a bit more of how you think and why you are like that, right? Yeah. So and it's funny I said talk about this is because I was seeing guys that, you know, had their full suit, you know, really looking clean and everything. I had some khakis with a shirt, no ties. I was just, you know, comfortable, confident of how I felt. And I went in the meeting and it showed, because I wasn't wearing a tuxedo, but I was still confident in front of those people.
Yeah.
So it's all about, you know, how you set your mind to see things, and how your confidence comes out from that event, right?
Wow, that's crazy.
And so that whole combine is what is like 3-4 days, about 3 days. And so it's really like a 3-day, really intense. You go through interviews, you go through testings, you do some drills, competing drills. So like kind of one-on-ones, you do some special team blocking stuff. So it's really like a high intense 3-day nonstop. And it's just after finishing this, you just have a feeling of accomplishment, because even if you maybe didn't perform as good as you did, you still went all out and you tried your best out there, which is probably one of the most important part, because if you don't try it out, well, you're never going to know if you could have made it or not, right? So it's the same thing with everything you do in life. So I wanted to try my best. So that's why I went to the States to train. That's why I competed with the best also. I wanted to be in the best mindset possible, and that's what I did. And, you know, I got drafted 2nd round by the Ottawa Red Blacks. So, you know, that's when you see all those efforts and hard work um,
You're rewarded.
rewarded. There you go, thanks. Rewarded. It's just like that night was amazing. We with my family, some friends, we booked some space in the restaurants to watch the live stream of the draft on TV. And you get the call on the phone. You're just like surrounded with noise. You're just like, oh, I can't hear you. What?
Bro.
So it's definitely like one of those one in a lifetime feeling. You don't get drafted twice unless you do a different sport, but it's one in a lifetime. It's definitely a feeling that I got to share with my friends and my family. We did the event in Gatineau. Some of the guys came from Montreal to Gatineau to participate. Some others couldn't. Obviously, everybody's busy. So, but great feeling, and that's when the whole professional 3 years? Yeah, the whole 3 years started. Got drafted by our Red Blacks. My dream come true to play as a professional athlete, professional
Hey,
football player.
in Ottawa, which is right beside where you.
Right beside my hometown. So that was another actually that was a surprise because my agent was talking to me and saying like how it was in between like Winnipeg or I think it was Hamilton, if I remember, Winnipeg or Hamilton. And out of nowhere, the Ottawa Red Blacks, which is right next to my hometown, decided to draft me right before Winnipeg turned. So they ended up drafting another safety, but I was so happy because I get to move back home and be next to my parents' house. I can give them tickets to come to the games. It was just a feeling that I couldn't believe it, to be honest. But
Wow.
yeah, so that was the whole part of going all the way to the pros and making your dream come true. It's really like you have to set your expectation. You have to put in the effort of hard work, and you have to definitely prepare for what is to come. So it's setting yourself goals for the day, for the week, for the month. I'm still perfecting this craft of preparation and everything, because obviously with my business I have to kind of tweak everything, but it's definitely something that you learn through your life, just getting better at doing things, right?
That's right. And it never stops, ladies and gentlemen. It's like it's a lifelong journey of just perfecting or chasing perfection so we can be the best version of ourselves. So man, and you think that the journey, that's the best part of the journey. Now, talk to us about the switch, starting your business. This is like to me the best part, because I'm a fan of people who start businesses, especially when I know them. So talk to us about what you do.
So I started my agency in digital marketing just little over 10 months now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are asking me like, what happened? Like, what happened between football and then the switch to digital marketing? And it's really a funny question because, I didn't study in marketing. So it was kind of unexpected for some people. For me, I always had a love for marketing. Just like I said earlier, I decided to put most of my eggs in one basket, which was football. So I did spend a lot of time studying and making sure I did my schooling properly, but I still had the number one thing for me was still making pro as a football player. So that's why I kind of did what I did during university. And when football stopped, I was like, what do you kind of do your pros and cons? You kind of put your things that you like to do, things that you don't like to do, and so you kind of put it's kind of a vision board, if you could say like that. And then you kind of remove things that I don't want to do this, I don't like that. And it came down to marketing and liking the freedom of, because as a football player you get a bit more freedom. You're not you don't have a 9 to 5 kind of jobs. So I definitely like this kind of lifestyle. So I was like, how can I keep a similar lifestyle and still be able to work and generate some kind of revenue for me and pay my bills, right? And so I kind of used marketing. I did some research, found that I really love marketing and the psychology behind it. And I was like, okay, where does marketing is going? And definitely with you know, pandemic didn't happen at the time, so it was just right around the corner. But I just thought, okay, well, everything is going digital. A lot of social media is starting. Some platforms are remodeling their platform to have a revenue from it. So like Facebook,
Yep.
the only way they're making money is by having business pay for ads. That's the only way they can make business. And then so a lot of other platforms are starting to copy that that model, because obviously most of social media is free, so they have to make some kind of revenue in the end. And that's where I saw the digital marketing world, where the ads, paid ads for different platform was something that many businesses needed to adapt and kind of change their model also. And that's why I decided to go into digital marketing. And like I said, it was literally, I don't know how many weeks just before pandemic happened. So it was kind of, I don't know, it was fate in a way. I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was just perfect timing, because when coronavirus hits, I'm a couple of weeks into my my agency. So it's just like, okay, I don't get fired because I'm my own job, right? So then it kind of opened the doors for me to, you know, help out different businesses. At the start, I was, you know, trying different things and seeing what kind of business I like to work with, and that's how I kind of narrowed it down to where I am today. But just the fact that the pandemic hit, it kind of hits everybody saying like, oh, I have to adapt with my business. I have to kind of be able to run things online if I need to, right? And
Yep.
that's when I started stepping in and helping those businesses. And then to come to where I am today, well, again, I did a little breakdown to know what kind of business I wanted to work with. So I started the same thing. You know, you go one side, what are the things I like, what are the things I don't like, and you go through it. Okay, I like snowboard, I like football, I like sports, you know. And at one point, okay, I like real estate, and that's when I stuck. I was like, what do I want to do with real estate? I always wanted to get invest into property revenues.
Yep.
So, you know, renting our apartments, stuff like that. So I was like, how can I learn more about it? Is by helping, you know, people working in real estate. And that's where I'm at today. I'm helping out realtors with their digital marketing strategies and Facebook ads and everything. And it's something that I love, because I get to help them out and teach them a bit more about marketing, and they get to help me out in terms of knowing a bit more about real estate and how to manage properties and stuff like that. So it's just, it's just connecting two dots, right? You're like, okay, I can do this and this, and we both win at the end of the day. So that's why I'm here today, and that's why I decided to, you know, do digital marketing for realtors and help them out achieve, you know, new heights in terms of their commission per year and sales and everything. And that's what I love. I mean, football was a big part where you're helping out the next generation. You're helping out in the community. We were always going out, you know, doing different kind of events to help out the community, to help out the younger guys, help out at the, you know, children's hospital and stuff. So it's some kind of mentality that was there before even I stepped into the business world. And now helping out people is something that it's firsthand in terms of my agency, because that's how you do business. You help people, and people help you and back because they think you're helpful. So they want to help you, right?
Wow.
So it's never about the money. It's about helping others.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's the two things that I'd like to say about that. So first off, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to money, asking the question, does this make money, is not a bad question. It's a bad first question. The first question should be, like Mike just said, does it help others? So when you're going to do something, ask yourself, does this help others, or is it just for myself? And then after that, you can ask the next questions. Okay, how is this going to help me financially? How is this going to help my family? And the second thing I want to talk about is, you said basically you put out the options. You wanted to do marketing, go into real estate, and what you did is that you surrounded yourself with people in the real estate business. And it's funny because I was listening. See, I worked during the night, and I was listening to a book called Atomic Habits, and it says, when you want to succeed at something or have some kind of momentum, right? surround yourself with people or in an environment that has the same thought process as you. So if we look at football, when we're in football, we're surrounded by guys, coaches, trainers, everything has to do with football. So our mindset is put towards that. Mike wanted to go into real estate, so he surrounded himself with people who are in the real estate business. So he has a momentum with his business, but also inside here. And that's the biggest part because, again, it's so simple. It's so simple, not easy, but everything happens between these two little things right here.
Yeah.
So all that to say, ask yourself, is this bringing a positive change to the people around me? And am I in an environment that has the same thought process of the things I need and want? And that will actually help you go forward with what you want. And it's something that Mike is living at the moment because I see it. It's something that I'm living. So just do it.
100%, man. The environment will change how you think and will change how you do things. It's really how you surround yourself. And like you said, if you surround yourself with the right people, then it can only go right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll learn from them and so on and so forth. So
But
Mike,
yeah,
go. No, go.
So I wanted to make a point just because I jumped from pro football to my business so fast, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen overnight. Like I didn't think, oh, I want to do marketing for realtors. Like it didn't happen like that. So my last season went in 2019, and it took me literally a year and a half to figure my things out. Like that first year without football was super hard for me, and I didn't know what to do, because like I said, I put most of my eggs in one basket, which was football, and that ended up finishing in 2019. So after that, I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? So I wanted to be around football a bit more. I wanted to know if coaching was something for me. So I went to coach in my old CJEP, Cégep de l'Outaouais. I had lots of fun. The coaches over there were great. Players were awesome. Made some good connection with some of the coaches and players that I still talk now today. But it's just different. Coaching and playing is just a 100% different thing. And so, yes, I love football, but I think coaching wasn't for me. So I was happy doing it, but I wasn't like 100% happy about it. So, and that's why that whole year and a half was hard for me, because I was trying to figure out what I was supposed to do in the next step in my life, right? I didn't really want to have a job in what I studied in, because it was in English is science, leisure and recreation. Yeah, science and leisure and recreation. And it's not something, it's really interesting program, and it's something that's very important in terms of the life in a city and life mentality. People, they have to do some recreation, they have to do some leisure, because you can't do business all the time, you're going to go crazy. So it's definitely a good thing to do, but it's not what was passionate for me. And I liked it, but I wasn't passionate about. I was passionate about playing football, and so that's that whole year and a half I was looking, what was I passionate about. And after a year and a half, I figured out, okay, I'm gonna try this digital marketing thing, see how this goes. And I don't think if I would tried it, I wouldn't been here today. I wouldn't have my agency. So it's like we said, you got to try it out to know if it's right or not for you. So I tried out coaching. It wasn't right for me. Love the guys, but I tried something different. I even tried teaching kids at school and high schools. I didn't like that either. So, that's another thing. And that's, so it's steps. You have to try different things. And at one point, you're going to find it. It could take 10 years. It could take 2 years. It could take 2 months. You never know. You just got to keep on rolling with the punches and going at it.
That's so true. And actually, I have a question for you. In those things that you did, right, and the coaching and the teaching, did you give everything you had when you were there?
Oh, I had to. Especially with coaching, like these players and other coaches are depending on what you're going to bring to the table. So if you're not like ready to invest 100% of your time or energy, well, what's the point of doing it? Because then if you're not doing 100%, well, might as well not try it, because you're not going to know what the real results are going to end up being, right? So go 100 at everything you try, because I mean, what's the point of trying if you don't go 100?
So that is awesome because it's proof of something. So basically, very simple, ladies and gentlemen, is in life we're faced sometimes with different options. And sometimes we pick, let's say we have three options, we pick all three and we go 25% at one, 25% at the other, and 50 at one. How about this? How about next time you're faced with three options, you pick one. Don't spend too much time thinking about it. You just pick one and you go 100, like I said, go 100. And one of two things will happen. Either it's the right way and you have exponential growth and success, or either it's the wrong way and you find out quicker. And it doesn't take you years. It takes you maybe a few weeks, few months, but it doesn't take you years that you've wasted. Because remember one thing, it's not time that's passing by, it's our lives. And when we understand that, because time is time, man, time has always been there. Cheers for us. When we understand that, that will give you a little bit more, it will motivate you from the inside out to say, okay, I got to do this now. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So then I'll move on to the next thing. And you have the proof here. Again, Mike is, again, in the surrounding where he's having major success. And, man, as we come to a close, Mike, where can people get in contact with you? Where can they follow you? Tell us which social media platforms. Tell us the whole shebang.
All right. So you can definitely find me on Instagram, MC_Ace1, which is my business and personal page. I post a little bit of both. I post a lot of value out there in terms of Facebook ads, stuff for realtors, or just social media marketing in general. I like to offer some free value, so my posts have a bit of both. They have value and they have a bit of what I do and my personal life. You can also find me on Facebook under Mikael Charland. There's no special name for that. And also for my profile, there's my business page, which is Fly Digital, where you can find it. But mostly what I have on my Fly Digital page is what I have on my Instagram and my personal profile. It's just out there because it's a business. You needed to have it there. It's like it acts like as business cards for social media. So if you don't have a business page and you have a business, go on and do that. That's my marketer telling you to do things. But besides that, those are the platforms I use a lot. You can find me on LinkedIn also. I'm not super active on there, but if you're a LinkedIn person, you can connect with me there also. And really what I do is I help realtors generate more CMA inquiries, so evaluation for properties on autopilot through strategy that we use on Facebook advertisement, and a chatbot, which is an automated bot that has a conversation and generate and qualify the leads for the realtors. So on Instagram and Facebook, you can find me. Don't hesitate. If you have questions, I can answer any social media marketing questions also. So don't be shy. I don't bite.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was your boy Avatarfit here with Mike Charland on Gold Nuggets. Bro, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm looking forward to talking to you very soon, bro. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me, Jamal.
My pleasure, brother. Take care.
See you, man.